Morgan, you said you're good? All right. Hey, it's Tim Pyles. We have Danko Jones here. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Tim. Nice to be here.
The Mango Kid back in San Diego. We love that. You've been here a few times over your career, yeah?
Yeah, probably about half a dozen times.
You have friends in San Diego? Have you made any friends over the years?
Yeah, PDX
Yes.
from Rocket, who does Merch Lackey. They used to do some of our shirts, and I love all the RFTC merch stuff. It's always been cool over the years. So.
Do you have a Rocket from the Crypt tattoo yourself?
No, I don't have any tattoos.
Oh, all right.
No. So I have to pay to get in.
Yeah.
More than willing to.
I love that you wrote a song. I was really taken by that. You wrote a song about the day you found out that Rocket from the Crypt broke up officially. R.I.P. RFTC.
I don't know if it was the day that I found out.
Okay.
But yeah, that had to do with that event.
Well, we're happy they're back together again.
Are they?
Yeah, they just toured Europe.
Oh, cool.
That'd be a great double bill. Danko Jones and Rocket
Right.
from the Crypt.
Right.
You've toured the world and played with many of your idols and icons, from the Stones, Guns N' Roses, Motorhead. Is there any band out there you haven't played with yet you'd like to rock
tons.
the stage with?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, now that AC/DC, I don't know what the status of that band is, so that would have been a band I would have named.
Certainly. All right.
But yeah, tons. And, you know, questions like that, I always draw a blank immediately, but I mean,
That works.
My list is probably the same as every band's list, you know, of dream list of bands to play with.
Well, you seem to write a lot, right? You've got a whole book here that's not out yet, coming out soon. Maybe by the time we have this on there.
It's coming out June of 2018.
So pretty soon to today. Tell us a little bit about the book. I've got something to say. Danko Jones, 10 Years of Rock and Roll Ramblings, forward by Guns N' Roses, Duff McKagan.
It's out on Feral House Books, so if anybody is wondering where to find it, they can just go to feralhouse.com. It's basically a product of boredom on tour. A lot of bands, I don't know what they do, but I just like to kill time writing. I was so bored when we were touring, and then I got an opportunity to write a column in Rock Hard magazine in Germany in 2004. Mm-hmm. And that just basically kickstarted the whole thing. And it's just every time I do an interview and it kind of went okay, and I saw some sort of window to walk through, I asked the editor or the interviewer, and I was starting to do like 4 or 5 columns or articles a month. So I had to part down at one point.
Are you still writing?
Yeah, I have a monthly column in Close Up magazine in Sweden, which is Sweden's premier heavy music magazine.
Okay.
And I've been doing that since 2006. And I have another column in Rock Zone magazine in Spain, which I've been doing for, I don't know, six years.
And you do podcasts on the road as well. So You just did one recently in LA. So any chance you have to pull in somebody, you're doing a podcast, it looks like? That seems to be a regular thing, yeah?
Yeah, I have 2 podcasts, actually.
Podcasts.
Yeah, I've got my regular podcast, which I've been doing since 2011, and it's just up to episode 175.
You were an early adopter, right? I mean, podcasting.
I used to do a podcast in 2005, and that lasted for about 8 episodes or 6 episodes or something. And medium hadn't really taken off at that point, so I didn't really see the point of doing it, but it was at the request of our then website webmaster.
Sure.
He suggested it. So he was actually ahead of the curve. But then I took it up in 2011 when I started to get into podcasting. And now I've been doing it, like I said, since 11. So it's 7 years? Is that the math? And it's 175 episodes. Every 2 weeks I upload a new one. And I have a second podcast, which I've been doing for almost a year now, which is a weekly podcast.
Okay.
And that's called the Regal Beagle podcast. It's a podcast about the TV show Three's Company. And we're going in chronological order on the episodes.
About Three's Company?
No, it's about every episode. So every episode is about the next Three's Company episode. So I'm at season 3, episode 13 should have been uploaded yesterday, but I'm on tour, so I'm going to postpone it till next Wednesday.
You're serious? You have a podcast about
serious.
Three's Company?
I'm totally serious.
Did anybody else know this? I didn't know this. That you learn something new every day.
Yeah, most people don't even know about my podcast, and that's the whole point. With the explosion of podcasts, everybody has a podcast now. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Most suck.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You know that.
Right.
I know.
That's why I'm scared to start one.
Right. And most people go, I'm starting a podcast. They do 3. And then they realize the grind of doing a podcast in order to actually make it something.
Sure.
So I put none of that pressure on myself. I just have a deadline every 2 weeks. It keeps me busy. And whether you know about it or not, I don't really care. I'm just putting it out, and I do it for myself. I do the intros in my bedroom when I'm at home. I pile them up, and then I edit them on the road. And so I'm genuinely shocked when people come up to me and they say they've heard the podcast.
Nice,
because it's just me talking to myself. And then on Instagram, we've got the Instagram. Danko Jones, Danko_Jones. But I also have another Instagram profile called Next Level Record Collecting, which I upload some of my more kitschy, bizarre records.
Nice.
I do that every couple of days.
What is the most recent post you did?
A Rocky and Friends 7-inch on Kid Stuff Records that came out in 1983. It's just a 7-inch that was put out, I believe in 83, was it Rocky 2.
Okay.
So it's got Stallone on the cover and just don't do drugs and work out, eat your vitamins kind of thing.
You're a busy guy. I don't know how you write music at the same time. When do you find an opportunity to write songs?
There's a lot of downtime that I guess most people use for other
Sure.
Other
Do you
things.
write on the road at all?
Yeah,
Find
I do.
inspiration?
Actually, that's the reason why I kept at it, because I found that it killed hours and hours of waiting. You know, it's a hurry up.
There's
and
a lot of waiting.
Yeah, it's a hurry up and wait game.
Yeah.
So you kill 23 hours to play for an hour, or 22 and a half hours to play for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So in all that time, there's the way we tour. There's like usually there's a driver, and so I'm either staring out the window or maybe meeting a deadline with an editor, which I found a lot more stimulating. And we've been on tour for, I don't know, we've been around for 22 years, so we've been on tour for maybe 20.
Are you ever home very much at all?
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, like, I don't need to see the Eiffel Tower or some thing. I mean, or Niagara Falls, like we've seen it already.
Sure.
So what do you do then?
Right.
Podcast,
write a book, or you write a song.
Yeah. I didn't really, the book is a collection of articles, so I don't have the patience to actually write a
Right.
a
Well,
book.
like you wrote about Ravi Shankar, and that's roughly
my patience lasts for about, 1,500 words.
You get inspired by something, and
yeah,
you
it's
write.
1,500 words long.
Yeah.
And then I want to move on to the next thing, whether it's like a meal or maybe listen to a record or watch a little TV show.
All right, last thing. Wildcat came out last year.
Yeah.
When is the next record? When are we going to see new music?
Well, we went into the studio earlier this year, back in February, with Garth Richardson, and we recorded 4 songs for an EP. But we found out we didn't want it to stop. So the EP is now becoming an LP. We're going to do that in the fall, and hopefully it'll see a 2019 release with Garth Richardson at the helm.
And tell us about Garth Richardson. I'm sorry if I'm not familiar.
Yeah, sure. He did the first Rage Against the Machine record. He did Shot by Jesus Lizard. He did 3 Biffy Clyro records.
Love that band.
Yeah, he did 3 Melvins records.
Okay.
So I'm sure you do a search on Garth. And
we've all heard it.
It's got 3 G's in front of his name, so it's Garth Richardson, and his disc is what do you call it? His CV is like endless. Almost.
And you've lectured on Kiss before?
Yeah, I did a lecture on Kiss in 2012 at the Wacken Open Air Festival. It's available as a bonus feature on a DVD we put out. And it basically proved that I proved in 2012 that Peter Criss died in 1978.
How did you prove this?
You got to watch the lecture.
Okay.
It's an hour.
Okay.
I mean, we can extend the interview, but we got to go do sound check.
Yes, we do. All right, Danko Jones.
I can prove to you that he did, and
I'll watch it, and then we'll have a conference about it later tonight.
No joke. You should really check out
It's one of my favorite bands. I saw them in 1976 here in San Diego.
I don't know who that Yahoo is tooling around town saying he's Peter Criss, but I know the real story.
All right. Well, does that get answered in the book by any chance?
No.
Just got to watch that video. No. Danko Jones, everybody, pick up the new book, and we're looking for new music. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tim.
Cheers. Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, you can. I forgot to mention the Three's Company podcast you can stream it on or download it on iTunes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go look at a couple things before I do another interview with you.
I get different co-hosts. I should have mentioned this. So the latest one was with Scott Reeder from Caius. So Scott and I talk about the next three. So season 3, episode 10, 11, and 12.
Did you grow up watching that show, I guess?
Yeah.
You're a little older than I thought. So you're closer to my age, so we share the same time period of that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and before that was Derek from Sepultura.
He
did season 3, episodes 7, 8, and 9.
So you send them links to watch them beforehand? Or?
Yeah. It's 3 at a time for each guest because I find 4 episodes to watch and talk about it just gets too much.